Manchester, people like Whit Stennett, former Lord Mayor of Trafford, Ozzie Smith from the Jamaica Society, Louise Dakakodia, Eloise Edwards. I could go on and on, but these are the champions that when I got into problems after coming here when I was a young child in 1967 to join my dad, who had settled here after being called to help to come and literally rebuild the country. He was a civil engineer. So I came age 6, and I remember this 2-week voyage on this ship, and we landed at Madeira, and then we came to Southampton, where I met this man who said he was my dad, and I said, oh, okay. And we came to Manchester. And, you know, we talk about the difficulties that we've had, but I'd like to say that Manchester is a great city. Manchester has had a long history with the African diaspora. Many of you won't know this, but back in 208 AD, yes, 208 AD, 1800 years ago, we had the first African emperor of Rome, Septimus Severus, who came to Manchester and helped rebuild Mancunium, the fortress that had been here. He then went up to Hadrian's Wall and helped rebuild that. He also built the Square Mile in London. So Africans have had a lot of dealings with the UK over the period of time. Roll forward a few hundred years and we have Manchester, that was then called Cottonopolis. It was the centre of the world's trade in cotton. So all these textiles mills that were making all these textiles, where did they get the cotton from? It was from Southern America, where it was being grown by Africans. But during the Civil War, Manchester stood with the Union. Manchester said they would rather go hungry and not be able to work.
Where the money at?
Lincoln Square, where a letter was sent by Abraham Lincoln to the people of Manchester, thanking them for their support during that time of struggle. Even the Peterloo Massacre, there was a Caribbean person involved there, somebody called Daniel Williams. He later went on to take out his frustration as to what had happened to the people of Manchester in the Cato Street conspiracy. Many of you won't know this, but he and his compatriots tried to take out the British cabinet, but they were found out and eventually hanged. Some of them were sent off to Australia. So there's been a long history of struggle. And so when we came here in the 60s and 70s, we too had to struggle. But many of us has overcome. When I was threatened with deportation because I'd been back to Jamaica and then come back again, as many of us do, the laws had changed. And when Jamaica got its independence and many African Caribbean territories and African territories got their independence, many of us didn't know that inserted in those legislations, Section 2.2 said that you would stop being a citizen of the United Kingdom colonies. So we had come here as citizens, but then whilst we were here rebuilding the country, our citizenship was being stripped away without notice. And then the government passed the 1971 Immigration Act, which imposed immigration laws on people who were formerly British. Normally you don't impose immigration laws on British citizens, but that's what happened to people from the Caribbean and other parts of the Commonwealth. But the people that I mentioned early on, Gus John, Barry Edwards, Whit Stennett, they stood up for me and they organised the campaign, and we were victorious against Mrs. Thatcher back in the 80s. She had come to power saying that we were being swamped by immigrants, but they determined that, you know, they would not deport me, and they fought, and eventually the government relented and allowed me to stay on compassionate grounds. So there is a situation where you can fight through and you can be victorious, because as people in Manchester, we stood together and we said, you know, we wouldn't put up with this. So what I'd ask you to do is remember that the struggles from the Windrush scandal still go on. It affects my generation, it's affecting the previous generation, and it will affect generations to come unless you check your status. If you have that black British passport at home and you haven't had the new one because you've not bothered, please check it, because even people at school who wants to go on school trips and so on have been refused and told they're not British, even though their parents have been born here. The laws have changed. They put in place the Windrush scheme, which will restore that citizenship and will pay compensation. And that's what we've been helping people do at the Windrush Centre on Alec Road. You just need to call there or call in and book an appointment, and you can have your status checked to see whether or not you need to do anything about registering as a British citizen if you've been here long enough. So with that, happy 75th Windrush Day. We've been here a lot longer. We've fought in two world wars, but we accept that this is an opportunity that we can talk about some of our history and some of our struggles with our neighbours, so that we're all aware that, you know, we need to fight and stand together. Thank you.
Anthony Brown, ladies and gentlemen, co-founder of Windrush Defenders. Now this next guy, I'm sure you'll recognize, none other than Linford Sweeney, founder of Inspired Histories. He's a historian who specializes in African Black history and currently delivers courses and talks throughout the UK. He's also a genealogist who's an expert in tracing Caribbean family roots, undertaking research and delivering workshops both regionally and nationally. He has a passion for history and enjoys uncovering the hidden stories of Black people, reconnecting them with the past and promoting new opportunities for greater achievement. Linford will come and provide us with a dose of Black history and remind us about our share with us about forthcoming celebrations. Please put your hands together. Presenting our journey, please welcome Linford Sweeney.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah? Okay. Right. I'm here to talk about Windrush history. Now, one thing that we need to know about Windrush history, it did not begin with the Empire Windrush. It began before that. There were two other ships before the Empire Windrush itself. And people from the Caribbean were here for up to 300 years before that. Okay. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this, but I'm going to include some music with it from the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. And you might enjoy some of this music. It won't play for long, but you'll enjoy that. Okay, right, it looks like I'm having some problem with the music already. Anyway, the important thing is, it was the third ship. It arrived on the 21st of June, not the 22nd. It's a myth that it arrived on the 22nd. The Empire Windrush arrived on the 21st of June, and people did not embark until the 22nd of June, which is why Windrush Day is on the 22nd. It arrived at a place called Tilbury Docks in London, and on board, don't believe the hype, it was not 492 Jamaicans, it was 802 people of Caribbean descent, along with others, that made up the numbers to about 1,027. So 802 Caribbean people who gave their last address as being in the Caribbean. Okay? And also Lord Kitchener was not Jamaican, he was Trinidadian. Okay? I was hoping to queue up Lord Kitchener's. Yep, there we are.
London is the place for me. London, this lovely city. You can go to France or America, India, Asia or Australia, but you must come back to London City. Well, believe me, I am speaking broad-mindedly.
And that was Lord Kitchener singing London is the place for me. He sung that on the ship before it came off, and it then became a single in 1951. And recently we honored Lord Kitchener with a blue plaque in Trafford. He's the first black person to be honored with a blue plaque in Trafford, and the second in Greater Manchester that we know of. So the question is, why did they come? Well, many came to work. Half of them had jobs already lined up. Others came looking for work. They came for a better life. And some had were already ex-servicemen who were coming back to rejoin the RAF and the army. So, the main thing is, the jobs that they actually got when they came here were low paid. And they were mainly in the transport industry, in manufacturing such as steel, and also in the NHS.
Come and me want go home. Work all night and a drink a rum. Daylight come and me want go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me want go home.
Right, this is the kind of music they would have been listening to. Like London, cricket, lovely cricket, Day-O by Harry Belafonte, and funnily enough, Harry Belafonte sold the first million-selling album in 1956 with this on. Now the interesting thing is, when they came to poor housing. They lived in poor areas simply because they were because of this discrimination against them actually renting property in certain places. They also miss their families and friends. Now, the main thing that we need to talk about today is that they were resilient, they were courageous, they were determined, they persevered, and they had a spirit about them when they came. And so they worked hard, and they bought homes. They started businesses, they got educated, they got involved in sports and various other things. So we'll play a few, some of the music from the 1960s that they would have listened to.
My boy, lollipop, you made my heart go giddy up. You are as sweet as candy. You're my sugar dandy. My boy, lollipop, never, never leave me, because it would grieve me. My heart told me so.
Get up in the morning, slaving for bread, son, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites, get up in the morning, slaving for bread, son, so that every mouth can be fed. Oh, me Israelites. On my kids, step up and I leave me. Darling, she said I was yours to receive.
Right, now, when I was younger, this is the kind of music my father listened to. And he's passed on all these records to me after he passed away. And I've still got them at home. Yes? So this is what I grew up in. This is what the Windrush generation were listening to in the 1960s. Now, interestingly enough, today, we have got many black achievers, many Windrush achievers, many achievers who are children of the Caribbean. Yeah? We can talk about Trevor MacDonald, who's won more awards than any other media personalities. We can talk about people like Michael Fuller, who became Chief Constable in 2004. We can talk about Baroness Scotland, who became the Attorney General of this country. We can talk about so many other people. So as you can see, we are contributing to this country, and the children of the Windrush are also contributing, and their children are now taking the baton. So I think that the future is bright. So let's finish with one more song. Thank you very much.
Linford Sweeney, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Right now, another one of our very special guests. This guy is the Mayor of Greater Manchester. Took up the post in 2017 in May and was re-elected for a second term in May 2021 with a massive majority, and he needs no real introduction to this audience. We're delighted having him here for a short period to provide us with some minutes about the importance of Windrush, which since 2018 is a national celebration. Cahn would like to say thank you for his continuous support. We're incredibly grateful to welcome him to the stage this time and not on our video screen like last time. Please put your hands together, make some noise for the one, the only Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham!
Oh, thank you. What an introduction. I feel I've got to really turn it on now with that big billing. Afternoon, everybody. How are we doing? Are we good? It's amazing, isn't it? Diamond Windrush, 75 years. And what a fantastic place to celebrate it with you all today. I want to start by saying thank you to those 492 people who were on the original HMS Windrush, but everyone who came afterwards. Many of them had served this country in the Second World War, and then they came to this country to rebuild it after the war and help establish the National Health Service. Also, 75 years old this year. I want to ask you this. Can you imagine, can you think of anybody who's made a bigger contribution to the country than that, fighting for the country in the Second World War, building the National Health Service? Ladies and gentlemen, show our respect and appreciation this afternoon for that original Windrush generation. They are amazing. They have made this country better in so many ways. We salute them, all of them, every one of them today. But the second thank you goes to the sons and daughters of that original Windrush generation.
We're still getting deported, yeah?
Granddaughters and grandsons, the great granddaughters and grandsons, all of those generations who since have contributed so much to our country. I was just talking to my great friend Elaine Unegbu. Elaine, wave to everybody. Elaine just told me that her mum worked in the NHS when she came over after the war, but now the family have 4 generations working in the National Health Service. That is some achievement, and we thank you for it. But we know there are many families like yours, Elaine, in Britain who have committed themselves to this country and served it in so many ways. And again, we say thank you, and we celebrate the contribution of our black community here in Greater Manchester. And today's a day, actually, isn't it? Just to celebrate what this place is all about, because it has always took a stand against racial discrimination. It has always stood for racial equality. The cotton workers who wouldn't handle slave-picked cotton, the city that welcomed countries across Africa for the Pan-African Congress in 1946. This is what this city has done and will do, always standing for true equality between all people. That's the Manchester of the past, it's the Manchester of today, it will be the Manchester of the future, because that's who we are, it's in our DNA. This is a place where everybody is truly equal. But I will finish, everybody, by saying one thing, because I recognise there's still more we need to do. There's further to go. I feel truly sorry that anybody who came over 75 years ago experienced racism, discrimination, but they did. And I just feel truly ashamed about that, and I feel sorry that they had to experience that. But as we know, we still face challenges today. So as your mayor, all I can say to you is I will always stand with you and stand against any form of discrimination, and I will commit to going further. We do need to commit further to ensuring there is fairness in policing. We do need to go further to ensure there is fairness in housing. We do need to ensure there is better representation of the community in all walks of life and at senior levels in Greater Manchester. And also, like today, we need to do more to recognise the contribution of the black community to life here in Greater Manchester. It was here before the Windrush generation. And here's a final shout out today for something I think we all need to do. We need to do it together, and we need to do it soon. Are we going to build this statue to Len Johnson or what? Yeah? Are you up for that? Well, I certainly am. That's something we all need to commit to today. It's going to happen, and that statue will be a symbol of what I was saying before. Greater Manchester always standing out against racial discrimination, always doing the same in the future, celebrating the Windrush generation, those pioneers who did so much, but celebrating everything that their families have contributed to our life here in Britain ever since. This is a major moment in British social history. 75 years since the Windrush generation arrived. You will always remember this day. It's an important day because we recommit together again today to build a Greater Manchester truly equal, free from any discrimination. That's who we are, that's who we'll always be. Thank you so much for having me, everybody. Have a great day.
Mr. Andy Burnham, the Mayor of Greater Manchester. If only every city in this country had an Andy Burnham. Okay? We live in hope. Now we're going back to some dance on the stage for you. Something very special. Part of the group were on a little bit earlier. They've taken part in many dance competitions such as Soul British Dance, Street Dance, talent shows, Caribbean carnivals, and a whole lot more. Put your hands together, make some noise for Jet Black once again.
Na, 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 na. Whoa, 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 whoa. Life is so good to me. Life is so good to me. Whoa, whoa, yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner. Yeah, 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 yeah. From your wake up this morning, you're a winner. Yeah, yeah. Watch out, Jaja. Tell me what the Bible for, what it's killing for. We don't need no more now, so tell them wicked people, fire go burn them, fire go burn them. Oh, oh Lord, I said this is the year for love. Fire go burn them, fire go burn them. Oh, silly boy, you ain't bad at all.
Thank you very much indeed. Jet Black, ladies and gentlemen. Make some more noise for him. And I tell you what, we're going to have more on-stage dancing. We're so excited to see this group perform. They're a group of young people who are supported by the wonderful Laura, who provides a space for young people of all abilities with the opportunity to dance and express themselves. They're going to be performing a soca dance for us this afternoon. Please say a big thank you and get behind these guys. Make some noise for soca dance performance, Claremont exclusive.
Marshall, yes, kid. 'Cause when we roll, we don't roll. is family and that different from bloodline. Some say them is blood, but them don't want to see the sunshine. Family don't ever fret to have your back at all time. Tell them and the friend, we fretting with we family. With me family. When we come to we mash up and turn up dance with like a hammer. Everybody chop it up together, chop it up together, mash it up together, mash it up together, wave it up together, wave it up together, chop it up together.
You're ready.
What can I say about that? Make some noise for these guys, yo. Absolutely awesome. And I tell you, the entertainment continues because Kaiso Posse ready? Kaiso, you ready? Kaiso Posse in the house.
No, you can do better than that, Manchester. Hello, good afternoon. Right, where's the Jet Black crew? Jet Black crew. Right, I need some of your dancers to come and join me 1 minute, yeah? I want some of the Claremont crew as well, please. Chloe, and some of the Claremont crew, I want some of you as well, please, with me. Come, Chloe, come. Manchester, you know what? I want to do a little Zumba workout with you, you know. I feel like after that little carnival, little soca crew, we need to do something with the audience, you know. So I just want a couple of them on stage with me, and we're going to try and do something and see how it works. You know what? Can we give a round of applause to this amazing lady? She's been dancing while interpreting. You are amazing. And you've been doing that from the very beginning. So well done, you. Well done. All right, listen, we're going on a mission, you know. You know when Team YB takes stage, I'm ready, I've got energy, and we're gonna do this with the audience. So audience, if you know these tracks that I'm gonna play right now, I want you to join in with me, and we're gonna have a good time. Listen, there's a point in the track where I want you all to go left, then I want you all to go right. So make sure you hear me properly. I want you to go left, then I want you to go right. And Carnival crew, we're gonna support the movement, yeah? Balancing when we on the road. Okay, balancing. Audience, when I say jump, I want to see you jump with us. I want to see you jump with us. Ready? 1, 2, 3, like jump up, jump up, we jump, jump up, jump, we jump, we jump, jump up, we jump. Ready, audience? To your left. 1, 2, 3. Pull up, pull it, pull it, pull it. Pull it, pull it, pull it. Mellow. Wow. 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 Give it up for my little star. Wow. One more time, you know, I just had to get the rhythm going. You know what I mean? Audience, get ready again. Hey, balancing. Watch me balancing. Yeah, I say, yes, we do it. 1, 2, 3. Jump up, hey, he jump. He jump up. I say he jump. I say he jump. Ready, left, left, left. Ready? Wave your hands, 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 wave your hands. Keep waving, keep waving. Wave, 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 wave. We're going to do it again. Come on, wave, wave. One more time, audience. 1, 2, 3. Jump. Hey, he jump, he jump. I said he jump. Ready to your left. To your left. 1, 2, 3. Give it up. Wow. Well, thank you guys. You can exit. Thank you very much. Give them one more round of applause, Manchester. Yeah! I know. It's a band like you know. Wow. I just thought we had to warm up the temperature a bit. All right, we've got some young talent for you guys. But before I start that, I want to shout out. I know not a lot of them are with us till this day, but the Windrush generation, for everything they have done from us since coming here to this country. Put your hands together, Manchester. And as well as that, I also want to give a massive shout out to all the black leaders out there that have done a lot for this community over the last many years. Give them a round of applause as well. There's so many to name. Michelle, come here. Yeah, come here. So many people since growing up have made a massive difference in our lives. Michelle, loads of youth workers over there, they've all made a difference. Give them all a round of applause. Thank you so much for everything you do for us in our community. Wow. All the teachers and everybody as well. I want to shout out the teachers. Give them a round of applause. And I just thought I want to share a bit of good news with you all as well. You know, I've lived around there a long time. I came here from Jamaica when I was 11. And I went to the powerhouse. I'm still there till this day. Still do youth work there. But I just want to say, as a person growing up and being so inspired, I'm happy to tell you all now that I am now an assistant head teacher. We can all make a difference in our community. And I want to continue being a role model for the young people in our community. One more round of applause. Wow, I love you, Manchester. Thank you, and thanks for supporting me on my journey every step of the way from very young. I really appreciate and love you all. All right, before I start with our young people, I've got my auntie, Corinne. She's made a poem about the Windrush generation, and I just thought it's only right for that to happen. So give her a round of applause, Auntie Corinne. Put your hands together.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Windrush 75. And what a wonderful day for it. Okay, are you ready? It's a poem written by myself to celebrate this wonderful day. Windrush 75. Windrush 75 years on, let us all remember how it all began. When the people of the Caribbean answered the clarion call of the motherland, England. They left their island in the sun, travelled by the Empire Windrush ship and BOA seaplane to rebuild England, the motherland. Many left their families behind, never to see them again. England needed to rebuild the land after the Second World War. So the people travelled afar to do the jobs that were needed. Tilbury Dock was their first glimpse of England, the place they had dreamt of. In thousands they travelled, doctors, nurses, bus drivers, cleaners, and many veterans from the Second World War. The motherland was thankful for the response to its call, but the people found there was no room at the inn at all. Wherever they found a place to rent, it was no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. England wanted the people to work, but no place to rest their heads. The motherland was rebuilt after the war, but after a while, the people, Caribbean people, became surplus to requirements. The Rivers of Blood speech was clear. It was time to send them back to where they belong, or put them on a ship with a one-way trip to Africa. Since 1948, the people of the Windrush generation have experienced struggles of acceptance, inclusion, racism, and social justice. Social injustice. The road has been rough at times, and the mountains very steep to climb, but the people still soar. Soar when they're told they don't belong. Soar when they're told you're overqualified for the job. Soar when the go home immigration van appeared on the streets. Windrush 75 years on, how much longer to receive acceptance by the motherland? Thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Come on, you can clap better than that.